Police expect Clifford Robert Olson to be charged next week with at least 5 of 9 known murders in the Vancouver area. 2 youngsters are still missing, and the Royal Canadian Mounted Police believe they are dead. So far, Olson is charged with first-degree murder in the death of 14-year-old Judy Cosma. Yesterday, searchers found the body of 17-year-old Louise Marie Chartrand. The dead and missing youngsters range in age from 9 to 17 years. The 9 bodies were found nude and had either been bludgeoned or stabbed to death. The search is continuing this weekend in the Vancouver suburbs where the children's bodies have been found. So far, the search today has turned up nothing new. But at a news conference, police indicated they believe they have the man responsible.
We do have a suspect in relation to these murders, and charges could be laid after Mr. Hall has reviewed the material. We have, and that will be up to Mr. Hall.
One suspect in all the cases?
Yes.
Hall is Crown Prosecutor John Hall, who is preparing charges against suspect Olson in what police call the worst case of mass murder in British Columbia history. John North, ABC News.
Between 1980 and 1981, a wave of fear swept across British Columbia. Children and teenagers were disappearing, one by one, only for their remains to be discovered later. The monster behind it? Clifford Olson, a man who would later become infamous as one of Canada's most calculating serial killers. Today, we're diving into the crimes of Clifford Olson, the so-called Beast of British Columbia. His brutal murders, his shocking deal with the government, and his chilling confessions make this one of the most disturbing cases in Canadian history. Clifford Olson was born on January 1st, 1940, in Vancouver, British Columbia. From a young age, he showed signs of violence and deception. By the time he was a teenager, he was already known to law enforcement. Olson was a career criminal before he ever became a murderer. He had over 90 convictions, mostly for fraud, theft, and break-ins. He spent most of his life in and out of jail, where he became known as manipulative and a violent inmate. But in the year 1980, Olson escalated to something far worse than petty crime: murder. Between November 1980 and July 1981, Clifford Olson lured and murdered 11 young victims, boys and girls between the ages of 9 and 18. He targeted vulnerable children, often pretending to offer them a ride or work opportunities. His victims included Christine Wheeler, 12, Darren Johnsrud, 16, and Colleen Digno, 13, and many others. Most of his victims were sexually assaulted before being brutally murdered. Olson would dispose of their bodies in remote areas, making it difficult for authorities to connect the crimes at first. Police were slow to catch on, partly because Olson's ability to blend into society. He was a skilled manipulator, always lying and conning his way through life, but his arrogance would ultimately lead to his downfall. Olson was eventually arrested on August 12, 1981, after police connected him to the disappearances. But what happened next would shock the nation. Olson struck a deal with the RCMP and Canadian government. He offered to lead them to the bodies of his victims, but in exchange, he demanded $100,000 to be paid to his wife and child. The government agreed, sparking national outrage. Many saw it as blood money, a payment to a killer for doing what he should have already done when he confessed. Olson even referred to it as his retirement plan. Then, in January of 1982, Olson pleaded guilty to 11 counts of first-degree murder. He was sentenced to life in prison with no chance of parole for 25 years, the harshest sentence in Canada at the time. Though that wasn't the last of it. While in prison, Olson remained manipulative and narcissistic. He taunted the families of his victims by sending them disturbing letters, and he would even apply for parole multiple times. However, every time he was denied immediately. Then in 2011, Clifford Olson would die of cancer at the age of 71, taking his secrets and arrogance with him to the grave. His case remains one of the darkest chapters in Canadian history. It exposed flaws in the justice system, sparked debates over the government's deals with killers, and left families with scars that would never heal. Let's not remember Clifford Olson for his crimes, but instead remember the victims, the young lives taken too soon by a man who thrived on cruelty. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share for more true crime stories.